So before I started at Google, I spent the last 15 years as a strategic planner in the advertising world, working side by side, burning the midnight oil with CMOs, with brand marketers, trying to figure out what their brand stood for. When I would counsel my clients to go knee-deep into the digital space, there was a hesitancy. Now, on a rational level, they would say to me, can I really kind of get our ROI from it? And what are the norms? And you know, how do I really test stuff there? But there was something else going on. Something else on an emotional and a deeper level, which is I've created these brands, these powerful, purpose-led brands that are supposed to touch human beings at their core. And yet, is the digital space really human enough? Now, what I'm about to tell you, the next 15 minutes, is that not only do we believe that the digital space is human enough, we actually contend that it amplifies, it enhances the human experience. We like to say that today's digital space operates on a whole new system, the human operating system. And I'm going to share with you 5 ways in which this is so, 5 behaviors, 5 fundamental human needs, desires, experiences that the digital space amplifies. And they are physicality, storytelling, locating, visualization, and play. Physicality. Now, we spend so much time being cerebral, no question. Right? We love to be theoretical. But at the end of the day, we are hardwired to want to touch stuff, to want to throw stuff, to put our hands in things. I mean, if any of you have babies, within the first weeks of their lives, you know they love to swat things and put it in their mouth. That's how they make sense of the world, by touching. And we still need to touch. We still need to feel. And what's great about the innovations in the digital space is that we can really exhibit that sense of physicality. So if you've ever experienced this app, Singing Fingers, you can create music. You can mimic music and create music by touching your iPad. The next fundamental human need or human experience is communicating. If there's one thing I remember from my bioanthro class I took at Harvard years ago, is that the human species differs from all other species in just 2 ways. The first is we have sex facing forward. Not all of us, not all the time, but we tend to do that. And the other is that we have sophisticated forms of communicating. We tell stories. And after a day of hunting and gathering, right, we would combine and gather, rather, around the campfire and share stories and elicit feedback and get people to respond and add to those stories. And today, with over 3 billion views a day, YouTube is our global campfire. But the stories we're sharing, as you probably are, all know, you all go on YouTube, are not just cats on skates anymore. They're much more sophisticated, much more creative, much more collaborative because of the digital space. Storytellers thrive on engagement. They thrive on interaction. And of course, the digital space allows us to interact within seconds with people from all over the world. And brands have tapped into this. Here's a great example of a great storytelling experience.
Shoot this man, come on! I can't! Just shoot it! Hey, I don't want to shoot this bear. Help me to rewrite this story. Type anything you want with your keyboard, then enjoy.
The third kind of fundamental human need is what we call locating, right? We need to have a sense of control over our environment, over our physical space. Now you'd think, wait a minute, I spend the majority of my day in front of a computer communicating with people from, with millions of miles away. What do I care about the physical environment that I live in? But the fact is we are hardwired to want to care because back in the hunting and gathering days, you needed to know. Is there a bear living behind me, or is there a cliff a mile ahead, or else I'm going to die, right? That sense of needing control over your environment still exists in a rational way because, hey, I need to know, sorry, let me stop that for a second. I need to know, is there a bank around the corner? Or where can I eat? Or if I have to go to the bathroom, that's pretty serious stuff. Thanks to technology, I get a sense, this is augmented reality, this is layer technology, I can get a sense of my environment immediately and have that sense of control. But there's another side to this desire to feel connected, to feel understanding or in control of your environment, which is a more emotional sense. And the anthropologists recognize this, that at the end of the day, we still connect with, we still care about our physical environment. That's why we like to furnish our homes, or why we want the streets we live in to look nice, because it provides a foundational compass for us. It grounds us. And it also provides a strong emotional, or it's tied to strong emotional memories. And we didn't even realize this until we created this next project, which is called the Wilderness Downtown Project. And what it does is by using Google Earth technology, by using Street View technology, you actually can go back in time and see the street that you grew up in and relive that. And the reactions that people had to this experience were much stronger than we ever imagined. And the good news is that brands are starting to recognize this desire, this need to connect with our physical environment. Google collaborated with Red Bull, and I'm just going to let this video speak for itself.
Red Bull presents Street Art View, an interactive gallery in which the curator is anyone who tags their favorite street artist on the map. More curators, more artworks. It's using the power of crowdsourcing to build the world's largest street art collection.
The fourth fundamental human experience, desire, starting from even hunter-gatherer days, Neanderthal days, was to reduce the complex. We would always get a lot of data, a lot of stimuli, and we would reduce and make sense of it through visualizing it, hence the abacus, hence geometry, or wireframes, or blueprints. And thanks to the digital space, we can do that in ways that are so much more powerful, so much more meaningful. I'll give you an example. If I said to you that SMS messages in Amsterdam in 2008 on New Year's Eve went up 500%, you kind of get that. But when you see it, there are the messages, all of a sudden, the power of it, the story of it, makes much more sense immediately. And of course, as we all know, if you have a CV, or if you're a brand and you want to tell a story with a lot of data, and you want to tell the history of the brand, you can do it in ways that are so much more meaningful, so much more engaging, so much more powerful, thanks to brands like Visualize Me. Final human experience, and I would say probably the most profound, is what we call play. And the digital space, there's no question that enhances play. It's very amusing, right? It's very entertaining. We can download movies, we can play games, we can watch porno. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is what the anthropologists call deep play. And deep play is what happens when you transport yourself out of your everyday. You use your creative abilities, you use your sense of exploration, and you start imagining what's possible. You start seeing different sides of yourselves and imagining your potential. And the digital space, because of the platform it is, because of the tools it provides, allows us to do it in ways we never thought we could before. Another great example, and this is a case where actually a brand benefited from this. I don't even know if they realized how deep the deep play potential of the digital space is, and that's Toyota. Now, I'm sure you're familiar with the Swagger Wagon video, right? Okay, so what Toyota wanted to do was they had this Sienna minivan, not the sexiest car in the world, very practical, very functional, but they wanted to sex it up a little bit. So they said, okay, let's make a video and let's hope that it raises our brand image. Maybe people will pass it around. So here's a little bit of that video just to remind you of that.
Yeah, this one goes out to all you minivan families out there. Sienna SE in the house.
Where my mother, father's at?
Where my kids at?
Where my kids at? Or where my kids at? Where my kids at? Where my kids at? Where my kids at?
No, seriously, honey, where are the kids?
They're right there, see?
Oh, cool beans.
I roll hard through the streets in the cul-de-sac.
Okay, it goes on and on. I wish I had more time to share it with you, but now, of course, as Toyota expected, it got a lot of play, it got passed around, but what I don't think they anticipated was the deep play nature, how effective that is. And so what happened was people started reenacting it and reproducing their own version of the Swagger Wagon video. If there's one thing I hope you walk away with remembering, is that thanks to the ability to locate, thanks to physicality, thanks to deep play, thanks to the visualization abilities, and of course the storytelling capabilities of the digital space, brands, if they want to touch their customers, can definitely do it. They can amplify their sense of human touch in the digital space.